Do you have aspects in your birth chart? Silly question. Of course you do. In this video, we'll be talking about what those mean. So, you are in the right place if you are trying to figure out what those different aspects mean, such as squares, which are a 90-degree aspect between planets and points in your chart, trines, which are a 120-degree aspect, sextiles, which are a 60-degree, and so on. With that being said, go ahead, check what aspects you have in your chart and what you want to know more about. And in the description, I have the timestamps to each of the different types of aspects. Let's go ahead and go through each of them, starting with conjunctions. A conjunction in your chart, which is a 0-degree aspect, meaning the planets are very close together. It can really range from 0 to 10 degrees, ranging in intensity. Depending on how close they are, shows how intense it is. But a conjunction is like a merging of two planets or a merging of their characteristics. For example, somebody that had the sun conjunct to Venus would have a merging of their self-expression and their personality with an element of charm, seduction, or beauty. Because the sun is about self-expression and how we project ourselves and how we want to be seen. And Venus is a feminine planet. It's about charm, attraction, and value. So somebody with the sun conjunct Venus would have a personality. They try to be seen as valuable or attractive. Or if it's a male, they try to come across as charming and relatable and socially intelligent. Because Venus rules Libra, which is a air sign. Air signs are about interaction and communication. Libra is about relating to others. Anyway, that's an example of a conjunction. But another trait of a conjunction is that it shows strength of character. So what I notice is in a chart when there's a lot of conjunctions between, various different planets, it shows somebody that has strong or distinctive personality traits regarding those planets. So with the Sun and Venus example, they show somebody that is really pleasant, could even be a people pleaser, could be somebody that has a strong aspect of charm, diplomacy, or relatability to how they try to come across. Another aspect or another example of a conjunction, let's just go with Mars and Venus. Mars is about our masculine side and it's how we go about pursuing things. Venus is about how we go about attracting things. So to me, when I see Mars and Venus, an example of this second meaning of a conjunction, which is strong character traits, is that they show somebody that is highly attractive because they have both of these sides of attraction in their chart conjunct in the same place, meaning it is a strong and concentrated aspect of their personality, especially depending on which sign it is. So if this was in Gemini, this means this person is very flirtatious, very sexual, very attractive, especially through their communication style or even their voice, because Venus is about qualities of ourselves, things that are attractive. So Gemini is about words and communication. So the way that somebody speaks with Venus and Gemini could be attractive. And then Mars shows how somebody pursues things. So Mars in Gemini is somebody that's very flirtatious and they really pursue people through suggestion, sexual comments, but like light pleasantries, with jokes or with suggestion, So that's an example of personality when there's a conjunction. And of course, when there's various different conjunctions in the chart, they show somebody that projects themselves very strongly in the world and has really distinctive personality traits. A conjunction really creates a unique personality or something that stands out about your personality in a strong way, especially regarding the merging of the two planets. So this gives, the reaction oh, this person is really people pleasing, or this person is really attractive, or this person is really flirtatious, or depending on which planet, that's why I'm changing each of the meanings at the end of the sentence, because it really depends on which conjunction of planets. Or it could be, oh, this person is really self-critical or really critical or really authoritative, especially, maybe in a conjunction with Saturn and the ascendant. So anyway, the point is, the last point is that it shows a trait that you are really or that you are strongly projecting. That's what a conjunction shows. So the next aspect that we're going to talk about is the 30-degree aspect, because we're going to go up 30 degrees for each aspect for this video until we get to 150 degrees. which is an inconjunction. So the 30 degree aspect, which is called a semi-sextile in your chart. This aspect is 30 degrees. 30 degrees into the zodiac wheel is Taurus. Taurus is all about value, worth, quality, visual or aesthetic beauty, because it's ruled by Venus. Venus is all about beauty, worth, money, or value. So for one, a semi-sextile shows an aspect of your chart that you possess in a way. It shows a talent or a trait that you possess, because between those two planets, there's a 30 degree aspect. Depending on the meanings of both of those planets, you possess some sort of merged expression of those that's like almost like a talent or a trait or a tool. And it may not actually be a part of yourself like the conjunction was. The conjunction is all about our identity. A semi-sextile, which is 30 degrees, is more like a possession or like a talent. And when I say possessions, possessions don't necessarily have to be physical or material. Like somebody can possess certain capabilities, certain talents, or somebody could be smart, meaning they have high mental faculties. So the point is, regarding the two planets involved, you possess an understanding of them, or you possess some sort of capability or talent that kind of is like an addition to yourself. For example, if there was a semi-sextile between Venus and Mercury, Venus is all about beauty, value, quality, and worth, and Mercury is all about communication and our voice. So this could show somebody that possesses a beautiful singing voice or an artistic communication style. They could be very into poetry. They could be very good with words. It could actually be a talent, something that they possess, but obviously not something that is necessarily prominent about their immediate first impression. It's more something that you find out about the person later, and is more so of an intrinsic talent that is not immediately perceived by others. And this is kind of different than the trine aspect, which we'll talk about later in this video. Because the trine aspect is about talents that other people immediately see, because it's associated with Leo. 120 degrees into the zodiac wheel is Leo. Leo is all about self-expression, taking the center stage and being seen. So we'll talk about not the sextile, the trine later, but a semi-sextile is kind of like a trine, but it's like an inner talent. It's like some kind of creative or artistic skill that you may possess that's not immediately perceivable by others. But nonetheless, it is a possession. It's something of value that you have. On a more materialistic sense, this could manifest, like some semi-sextiles could manifest as physical possessions or as having, wealth, especially a semi-sextile with Venus and another planet. So for example, if somebody had a semi-sextile between their sun and Venus, this shows somebody that makes money easily just from their personality or their career having an aspect. Part of their career could be having an aspect to do with their charisma, and their charisma easily translates into sales or into wealth. That could be a meaning with a semi-sextile, because again, semi-sextiles are about possessions, either physical or non-physical possessions. And secondly, they're about creativity, because 30 degrees backwards into the zodiac wheel from 0 degrees Aries is Pisces, 0 degrees Pisces. Pisces is all about creativity, imagination, just an understanding of things, or like a good imagination, a good creative ability. So a semi-sextile shows creative abilities that you have between planets. So let's give another example for those of you guys that want to, apply this to your own case, could benefit from hearing examples. Let's say you had a semi-sextile between Pluto and Mercury. Pluto is all about psychology and how other people think and, other people's values. And Mercury is about communication. So this semi-sextile shows that you have a good imagination or perception of how people perceive things or how they're thinking and how to appeal to their psychology. So this would translate to me, in a short sentence, somebody who's a great salesperson. Somebody that is also a great charmer or like a great seducer as well, because Pluto is about sexuality. It's due to, it's about other people's desires and also their psychology, what influences their actions. So somebody with Pluto semi-sextile Mercury, they may not abuse this talent, but they will have a good imagination of like what people's values are, what motivates others' actions, and like, what words to say. Their mind will just easily come up with sentences of things to say to make people, react in the way that they desire, because Pluto is all about manipulation and strategy. But again, this is a possession. It's not a character trait because it's a semi-sextile. So this is just something that they have, is maybe something that's just part of their imagination or the way that they perceive things. They have a very accurate perception of others, but they have the choice of how they want to use it. Kind of like if you have money or possessions, which is Taurus or 30 degrees, just like a semi-sextile, you have a choice of how you want to spend that money, or if you just want to keep it. Anyways, that's an example of semi-sextiles. It just also gives you, creative abilities and a ability to utilize, resources well regarding those two planets. If we're thinking of them as resources or whatever that they would mean in the sense of a resource, you gotta apply, what that planet would mean in terms of a resource or in terms of a concept. The semi-sextile just shows that somebody has a good imagination or like creativity revolving how to utilize that stuff. Like they're just good materially speaking, like from a constructive standpoint. Because Taurus is all about practicality, creative abilities, visual aesthetics, imaginative abilities too, with Pisces being 30 degrees back into the zodiac. So those are the two 30-degree signs, and that's what a semi-sextile means. So the next aspect that you may have in your chart is the 60-degree aspect. This is a sextile, so this could range from anywhere of an aspect of 60 to 68 degrees, really 52 to 68 degrees, because we're going to give a 8-degree orb for sextiles. And for as a matter of fact, for the previous one, for semi-sextiles, I would give that a 5-degree orb at the most, because semi-sextiles is a smaller range of degrees. But anyway, back to semi-sextiles, I would give it a 8-degree orb. And semi-sextiles are about intelligence and the ability to scope out opportunities. It can also show a communication ability or a good intellect, and also an ability to adapt, utilizing the meanings of the planets involved. The reason why is because 60 degrees into the zodiac wheel is Gemini, if we're starting from 0 degrees Aries. And so sextiles carry that aspect because you have a Gemini distance between the planets. And that's why it shows a positive aspect, because Gemini is all about communication, intelligence, and thought. Furthermore, the other sign that's 60 degrees away from the ascendant or 60 degrees away from Aries is Aquarius, if we're going 60 degrees backwards. So sextiles have an influence of Aquarius talent to them. The talent that Aquarius possesses is intelligence and ingenuity. Aquarius is the most inventive sign, and it has everything to do with what makes us unique or what sets us apart from the average person or from the average competitor as well, because it's all about being inventive and ahead of the crowd. It's all about the future, and it shows people that are logical and intelligent. So it can show a lot of inventive qualities, and inventors are really tied to the sign Aquarius. A sextile shows that you have an inventive capacity regarding the two planets that are involved. And you may have also a general sense of wit or intelligence. But I would really summarize it as being quite inventive. So for example, let's say you had Mercury sextile to Venus. Mercury is all about the mind. It's all about communication. It's all about opportunities. Venus is all about wealth. This, to me, shows somebody that has a good business mind and that is easily able to come up with ideas for wealth, especially regarding the signs that Mercury and Venus are in. So let's say Venus was in Scorpio, which is a taboo and a sexual sign, and it's also about things that are considered wrong or less accepted, things that sometimes are shamed upon. Well, this shows that this person has a talent for coming up with taboo opportunities. This could be, ways to steal things or take advantage, or just ways really to seduce people too, because Venus is all about attraction. Scorpio is about sexuality. So this could even be about doing, more degrading work or even more degrading business schemes or like more degenerative ones, because, Scorpio is all about the degenerative things of life, darker aspects of life. So anyway, this could be somebody that has a mind for monetizing their sexual worth. Like they just have the business savvy, This could be somebody, for example, I just think of OnlyFans as an example of this. So that's like a really particular example. Hopefully that helps you guys apply it to your own situation, and to your own planets. If Venus was in Scorpio, this means that Mercury would be in Virgo, or it could be in Capricorn. Both of these are earth signs. Earth signs are about practicality. Virgo is all about specific details, and it's about strategy as well. So this aspect between Mercury and Venus as a sextile would really show somebody that has a strategic mind and knows how to make wealth strategically, or through less accepted ways, or like through more taboo outlets of creativity. So yeah, this could be like even scammers too, like that could have that placement. And this would be somebody that makes people, that has like a type of scam that makes people really seduced by it, or like really want to buy the thing that they have. because Venus really shows a talent for attraction. So anyway, that's the example of sextile. The next aspect that we're going to talk about is the 90-degree aspect, which is the square. When you have a square in your chart, this aspect represents challenges, restrictions, or emotional sensitivities regarding these planets. And squares are the aspect that you feel the most in your chart regarding the planet. Like, these are the themes of life that bring you the most stress, that feel the most painful, most challenging. And that's why it's the things that make you wince or cringe when you're looking at your chart and you're just thinking about, damn, like, I wish I didn't have this weakness, or like, I totally relate to this challenge in my life. Because the reason why is because 90 degrees into the zodiac wheel from the sign Aries is Cancer. Cancer is all about emotions, and it's the deepest part of the chart. It's the things that are deeply felt. So one thing's for sure for squares is that these are the aspects that someone is like, whoever that you're looking at their chart, these are the aspects that they're going to feel the most. And the other sign that's 90 degrees from the ascendant, or from 0 degrees Aries, is Capricorn. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. It's all about challenges and restrictions. So squares carry a very significant emotional meaning in the chart between the two planets. And these are aspects also regarding restrictions and responsibility, sometimes negative karma. In fact, I would always say that they carry something about karma if you look more deeply into it, because your challenges are also things that you either didn't face in a previous life, or it's a karmic reaction to something that you did. But for the most part, I wouldn't perceive it that way. I wouldn't necessarily say that you should like perceive your squares as like negative karma, and you should perceive your challenges as punishments. Like, that's not really what it's all about. But for the most part, squares, on a positive sense, they show a place of spiritual development. That's really what it's all about, because these are unstable or insecure places in your chart, and they are regarding a certain challenge that your soul is facing. There is an unsettling element to them. Commonality between the sign Cancer and Capricorn is that they all have to do with time and patience. Cancer is all about nurturing things. It's all about raising a family. It's all about developing something, putting time, care, and energy into it. Capricorn, on the other hand, is all about ambitions. It's also about time, responsibilities, and hard work. So squares can be no fun in that sense, but there is an element of time or patience to them required in the sense of spiritual development. And in this lifetime, your square is showing something that you're trying to change into a positive aspect, or you're trying to build something out of it, because squares allow you to build things. With no squares in somebody's chart, they are really not doing anything challenging in this lifetime, and they're not really going to be able to build anything. So an astrologer that I really like, their analogy for squares is True Brilliance. She describes it as, squares are what you turn into stairs in your chart, and that's 100% accurate. That's how I look at it. It's really aspects that carry significant emotional significance in your chart, and that require, some sort of spiritual development. And sometimes they're regarding karma. So let me give an example of karma. Let's say somebody had the sun square to Uranus. So actually what I meant is, let me give an example of a square, and also what it means in terms of karma. The sun is about confidence. Uranus is about individuality. So somebody that has the sun square to Uranus has difficulty expressing their individuality, or they feel insecurities around confidence due to their unique traits or what makes them weird or different. And in a karmic sense, what this means is that in a previous life, they may have had a lot of confidence. They may have had a life that allowed them to feel well about themselves, but a lot of times they made fun of other people's individuality. Now, bear with me and let me explain why this is the case and why this could have turned into a square. Because the truth is, however you treat others is really a reflection of yourself. Somebody that's constantly making fun of other people's weirdness or their individuality, just because they are confident and they don't feel like they have any flaws, what they're really saying is that if you took away their confidence and if you took away their life circumstances, their upbringing, the things that make them feel like they have the right to act the way that they do and to act so obnoxiously, if you took away all those things and you put them in the place of the person that they're making fun of, then they would feel terrible. So the point is, that person that's making fun of others is really insecure. This is exactly how you build negative karma, is by treating others in a way that shows that you really actually feel bad about yourself. Realistically, if we were to take away all your life blessings, that, or not even your blessings, but all the circumstances that for whatever reason, made you feel good, then would you really feel still good? And especially if we put you in a position of the person that you are making fun of, would you then feel good about yourself? No. So you would have no confidence. So anyways, somebody that's doing that a lot, that, not accepting other people's individuality or has an ego, feels like they are better than others and frowns upon other people's individuality, that means they would cringe at themselves if they had a weird trait, or if one day they woke up and had no attractive or confident qualities and they had maybe a different one. So what happens is that in the next life, when they're born with certain qualities or individuality, now their insecurities are coming out, because now they're no longer in the circumstance that their son is expressing in a positive way. Anyway, that was really complex as an explanation, but I hope that made sense. And that shows how squares can show karma, because these challenges are just things that you're spiritually working to develop and accept within yourself. In this lifetime, this person is developing confidence around their individuality. In the case of the sun being square to Uranus, and maybe in a previous life, they just got lucky and they were born like in a circumstance, in a family, and with certain materials or clothes that for whatever reason, it didn't trigger that insecurity within them. But obviously it was still there because they're making fun of people that don't have those same things, or that were weird or were different. So anyways, the point is, you always want to accept yourself. You always want to accept others, because you don't want to develop, or you don't want to express insecurities within yourself, or develop them just because you feel like you have the reason to be above others or something like that. Anyway, hopefully that made sense. That is a basic explanation of what squares mean in your chart. In terms of, challenges, the sun is all about confidence. And so a square to the sun would show somebody that has an inhibition or a chip at their confidence. And then you would just look at the other planet to see what it's really about. So say if somebody had Venus square to the sun, which I don't really think that's really possible, because Venus is supposed to stay within 2 signs of the sun. But let's just use it as a hypothetical example, right? Because, Venus is actually closer to the sun than Earth, so that's why it doesn't range any further than 2 zodiac signs. But if somebody had Venus square the sun, this would mean that they have issues around their confidence, especially due to their sense of self-worth, because Venus is about self-worth and value. So really, you could just apply this to any square to the sun, or to any planets, really. You could replace the sun with something else, like say if it was Pluto. This is about your sexuality, your ability to express your taboo side, your ability to do the wrong things to feel good, because sometimes you just want to do the wrong thing, in life. Sometimes it's important to break out of boxes in that way. But, a square to Pluto would show a challenge either regarding secrets or insecurities or things that you're ashamed of that you've done that were wrong, or an inability to even do those things, especially depending on the planet that's part of the square. That is what squares indicate in astrology in your chart. So this leads us to the next sign, which is, or not the next sign, the next aspect, which is 120 degrees. This is the trine. So trines in a chart show confidence, because the sign that is 120 degrees into the zodiac from the sign of Aries is Leo. So trines are really tied to the themes of Leo. Leo is about self-expression, it's about confidence, and it's about a constant way of acting or being, because Leo is a fixed fire sign. Fixed signs are about a constant way of being. Fire is about action or energy. So it's somebody that constantly acts the same no matter the circumstances that they're in. And this comes across to others as confidence and as strong character. So a tip, if you want to increase your character or, your strength of personality, is always try to act the same as you were already acting in a previous circumstance when a new circumstance arrives. If you hold the ability to hold your personality like that, it's going to come across as confidence to others, and it's going to develop more strength of character and more individuality as well, because Leo is the sign opposite of Aquarius. So if you struggle with confidence and personality, sometimes you feel like you lack individuality, and that's because you're always changing yourself for others, or you're always changing yourself when new circumstances arrive, or when you're around, new associates or new people. But anyway, Leo is about confidence. And it is the sign that is 120 degrees. That's why trines show somebody that has ease of expression. They are confident. Leo is about creative expression as well, and it's about expressiveness. So regarding the planets that are in a trine to each other, you have an ease of expression. You definitely feel confident expressing both of those planets, especially in relation to each other. Say, for instance, somebody had Mars trine to Venus. This means that they are comfortable expressing their masculine side, because Mars is about masculinity. It's about being attracted to something and going after it. And Venus is all about beauty. So this is a unique aspect that's combining the masculine and the feminine side of one's attraction in this case. What it would really show to me is it's somebody that's confident pursuing others only when they feel like they are valued, or when they feel like they are desired as well. But whenever that circumstance does happen, they get really confident, because because Mars is about being confident or like taking a risk or being bold, you know. The trine is showing confidence, and since it's a trine to Venus, this is showing me somebody that's confident when other people are attracted to them, or when they perceive that somebody else likes them just as much. So this also gives them a healthy like love style as well. They're able to be balanced and have a healthy self-awareness of their self-worth as well when it comes to pursuing other people. Like they will lose the confidence to pursue somebody, and you know, essentially they lose the aspect of that trine when they feel like somebody doesn't like them or value them. So anyway, you know, trines are always a nice aspect to have. Obviously, you know, that's why, you know, it gives you confidence in certain scenarios or circumstances. Now, the other thing is that Leo is all about being the center stage or taking the spotlight. So your trines are showing ways in which that you stand out to others as well. Also, it will be a trait of you that subconsciously inspires other people, because the other sign that is 120 degrees from the ascendant, or from 0 degrees Aries, if we go backwards in the zodiac wheel, meaning if we go clockwise, if you go like around from the ascendant back into the 12th house and so forth, then you land in Sagittarius eventually when you go 120 degrees back. Sagittarius is all about inspiring others. It's all about guidance. It's all about teaching others. People with trines unconsciously inspire other people, or like people will learn from them. And a lot of times people can even copy you or like try to be like you, because Leo is a very popular or like cool sign, because it's the things that we are confident about. And it's really subconscious. Like you could really be cool for various reasons, even reasons that you're not even aware of and that you're not trying. And that's the thing too, is that Leo is about not really trying at all. It's really just about being like that, just having that gift, you know, of whatever is the planets involved. Back to the second point, which is that this trait of yourself regarding the two planets subconsciously inspires others. You know, the other sign that's 120 degrees back from the ascendant, or I mean the other sign that's 120 degrees from the ascendant is Sagittarius if we go backwards. And Sagittarius is all about acting without having to think. It's all about risk. It's all about gambles. It's all about being bold as well. It's a fire sign. It's mutable fire, which is really spontaneous, because mutable is about being scattered. But the point being is that, you know, Sagittarius is the opposite of Gemini in the zodiac. Gemini is about thinking about things. And if you've ever thought really heavily about something, you try to do something, but your mind gets in the way. That's what is called overthinking or getting in your head, right? Sagittarius is the opposite. It's people that don't get in their head, and they may be more lackadaisical. They may have trouble, you know, sticking to things, but they do have the talent or the gift of acting on things and then adapting to the circumstances later. Like they're good at circumstances that require change or adaptation, you know, taking a risk and then just seeing what happens later and then like adjusting their life later. But also they acquire a lot of debt, and like they could acquire a lot of negative consequences from overdoing that. And that's because Sagittarius is right next to the sign Scorpio. Scorpio is all about debt. So subconsciously, because Scorpio is in the 12th house from Sagittarius, which is about subconscious, you know, Sagittarius people can acquire, you know, a lot of negative circumstances or debt, and a lot of times they stuff their conscience or like their negative things back into the back of their head. But they are good actors or agents like of change, or like good risk takers. How this ties into a trine is that a trine really shows things that you don't really need to think about in your chart, like things that you do innately, also that you do well or that make you stand out. And since Sagittarius is all about experience and wisdom, this is a trait that you have wisdom regarding. So, you know, Mars and Venus being in a trine shows somebody that is wise about matters of romance and attraction, because Venus is about romance and love. Mars is about pursuing things that we want. It's the masculine side of attraction, and Venus is the feminine side. So it shows somebody that in previous lifetimes, they've acquired, you know, that knowledge or that wisdom, especially through experience or through the use of judgment, which is when you just make an assumption or a generalization without thinking. That's what Sagittarius is all about. And that's why Sagittarius can be about beliefs, opinions, and judgment. So anyway, the trine is showing, you know, general wisdom as well, or knowledgeability regarding the planets, and it's a trait of you that inspires others, also that makes you stand out in a way. So Mars trine Venus shows somebody that stands out as attractive. It also shows one of your talents or your capabilities as well. That's what the trine is about. So say for instance, if somebody had Mercury trine to Neptune, this is somebody that's creatively gifted in terms of communication, words, writing, or storytelling, or is just somebody that has these really creative ideas too, because Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is all about ideas. It's all about communication. Neptune is about creativity, imagination, spirituality. So this is showing somebody that's really good at conveying or communicating spiritual topics, and they're very confident about their perception of things or their spiritual convictions as well. So they may inspire others, especially in circumstances where they have to prove to others a certain point, or like where they're trying to teach others about spirituality, because this person will have a very charismatic way of speaking about those topics. And also when it comes to a debate, they never back down, or they tend to have a talent when it comes to discussing matters of philosophy or spirituality in that sense, in the Neptune sense, which is all about oneness of things, open-mindedness, creativity. So this is also somebody that's really good with words as well. Like I was saying, they could be creative writers, they could be poets, they can really merge words really well. And I really mean that for that trait of Neptune being here, because Neptune is such a creative planet. It's also about film, movies, music, and cinema, and it's about stardom as well. So that's another example of a trine. And the thing is with a trine is that people would notice this aspect of you. So it's a little bit different than the semi-sextile, which shows inner possessions or inner talents that you may have, but that don't necessarily appear to others organically. And anyways, the trine is different than that. It's like things that other people would notice. Like people would tell a person that has Neptune, trine, Mercury that they're like really creative thinkers or creative writers, or that they're great storytellers, especially in school environments where they had to do a unit in English class or in reading classes about creative writing. Or like people would just notice that this person is a good singer or rapper or artist in some way if they're into making music and stuff, because this person will have good creative wordplay as well. Anyways, the point being is that people will notice this aspect of you when you have a trine. So definitely look at your trines. And also trines help you in romance as well, because Leo, which is the 120-degree sign, is all about romance, passion, and dating as well, because it rules. It's associated with the 5th house. So these could also be considered 5th house aspects of yourself. And these are the things that make you immediately attractive to others, because it's like talents or things of quality or worth that they perceive in you. Or it's like aspect of confidence that you have, things that make you shine or stand out. So somebody that has a lot of trines in their chart will also be very experienced in matters of romance as well, because they may have a lot of wisdom. They may be act first and think later type people as well. So they're confident taking risks. They're very passionate people, and they just have like a standout personality. And eventually they'll notice this about themselves too. So early on in life, they just develop a lot of charisma. The next placement or the next aspect that we're going to be talking about is the inconjunction. And this will be the final aspect for this video. I'll continue the opposition and as well the quintiles, the other, what's the other aspect that I forgot. But the rest will be, continued on Patreon after. But this is the final main aspect, may appear in your chart, which is the inconjunction. So with that being said, if you enjoyed this video so far, then don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see more content. Check out my Patreon as well afterwards if this video spoke to you and you would like to see the oppositions meaning, as well as the other more specific or more minor. So anyway, the 150-degree aspect is an inconjunction. Inconjunctions are all about a complexity, a particularity about the person's personality. Because 150 degrees into the zodiac is Virgo. Virgo is all about details, particularities, and complexities. It's ruled by Mercury, so it's a very mentally active sign. It can be sometimes mentally overwhelming, just like the 3rd house can be mentally overwhelming when you have too much internal dialogue or chatter or ideas. You can feel really scattered and pulled in all different directions. And Virgo has that similar tendency because it's all about details and particularities, and it really activates Mercury. It activates the mind a lot. So people with very strong 6th house or Virgo placements can often stress a lot, or they feel like they just have too many responsibilities or tasks on their mind at all times. But at the same time, they just can't stop. They're very obsessive and they're very organized and detail oriented. But anyway, 150-degree aspect shows a complexity or a particularity that you have in your personality. And sometimes it can even show an incompatibility between the two planets involved, where there needs to be more attention to detail in order to rectify it. So it's like similar to a square, especially because squares are associated with the earth sign Capricorn, and in this case inconjunctions is associated with the earth sign Virgo. So earth signs are all about practical work, practical matters. So these aspects have to do with situations that require a more practical approach or attention to details. Now the other meaning of an inconjunction too is the other sign that's 150 degrees from the ascendant or 0 degrees Aries in the zodiac wheel is Scorpio. Scorpio is all about, power struggles, misunderstandings, jealousy, especially in interpersonal situations. So anyway, to summarize, all of this together shows a complexity or a complication within the person's personality, especially in interpersonal situations, because the two planets may be incompatible. So for example, an example of this aspect could be Venus inconjunct to the moon. So the moon shows our comfort and our private life and also our emotional needs. Venus shows our love style, our romantic approach, and the things that we value in a person. So somebody that has Venus inconjunct to their moon has a complication or incompatibility with their emotional needs and their love style. So the immediate image or vibe that I'm getting in my head that could kind of give you guys an idea of where I'm headed mentally right now when I think of this placement is imagine somebody that likes players a lot, but on an emotional level they require security and practicality. These are situations that to me in conjunction kind of feels like, especially in this case, like Venus and the moon. So this could be somebody that loves in a certain way or pursues romance or partners that are in alignment to their Venus sign, which could be, for example, in Gemini. And Gemini is all about superficial conversation, interactions, flirting. It's all about being scattered and being opportunistic and kind of testing the waters a lot, being indecisive, or just acting circumstantially. So these people could be attracted to circumstantial lovers or people that have a good mouth on them, that can speak well, that are flattering, charming, but more fickle and more superficial, which is fine. But their moon would then land in Scorpio if we're talking about 150 degrees from the sign Gemini. And Scorpio is all about deep bonds and longing for deep connection, especially when we're talking about the moon, which is about emotional needs. And this is somebody, when the moon is in Scorpio, this is somebody that's more obsessive because Scorpio is a fixed water sign. Water signs are about emotion and fixed signs are about a constant way of being. So Scorpio is about a constant way of feeling, especially a feeling that you can't shake. That's why it rules depression or obsession as well, psychological complexities. And somebody that has the moon in Scorpio cares very deeply about the people that they do care about. It's not surface level, and they get really attached and they get in situations of feeling a certain way for long periods of time. So this inconjunction between these two signs is very prominent in astrology, and every sign has an inconjunction with another sign. So for example, Leo is inconjunct to Capricorn. Leo is about self-expression, being uninhibited, being confident and bold in yourself, whereas Capricorn is about being self-aware and being self-critical, being aware of the opinions of others, and being emotionally diplomatic. So the point being is that Leo is in conjunct to Capricorn because these traits kind of clash or create complexities within one's personality. So this would show somebody, if they had an inconjunction between Leo and Capricorn, that has complexities to their self-confidence, especially regarding being too self-critical or too self-aware, or they have a hard time being loud, disruptive, or taking the center stage because they're too aware of other people's opinions of them. You see? And the point is, we could really go around the zodiac, and each sign actually has a really strong and really deep in conjunction meaning with a different sign. It's crazy how all of the signs kind of mirror each other in a certain way, or kind of reflect each other across the chart. But the point is that we were talking about is somebody that has moon in conjunct Venus, and they had Venus in Gemini, which is the most superficial sign. Just because it's about the mind, it's about ideas, it's about communication, it's about circumstances. The moon being in Scorpio, this is completely incompatible with their moon, which is their emotional needs. They need loyalty, a deep bond, and they need somebody all to themselves, even to the point of obsession, or even to the point of violence sometimes, being thinking of murder, or thinking of dark or negative thoughts regarding if somebody tries to take this person away from you, or if this person tries to betray you. So anyway, this in conjunction between Venus and Gemini and the moon in Scorpio is just showing the incompatibility, of between their love style and their needs. So often they may get into relationships, Venus, which do not fulfill them emotionally. So a lot of times they will have to do complex forms of self-control or development in order to deal with the inconjunction. meaning sometimes they may have to suppress their emotions a lot to have to deal with romance. And usually when Scorpio moon is suppressed, it manifests as periods of depression at times, because the main way to relieve Scorpio moon is to find a creative outlet for your emotions. It's one of the most creative signs, and it's people that if they choose to pursue a creative outlet, they never run out of creative ideas, because it's a fixed water sign. Fixed is about constant way of being, and water is about emotions, and it's also about creativity, because emotion is what gives meaning to things. That's what art is really about. But anyways, I'm going on tangents all the time right now, kind of like a Gemini sign would, but hopefully this explanation helps you guys understand how the inconjunction kind of works in terms of incompatibility between the two planets. And you can really replace the meanings of the planets with the meanings of the planets that are involved in your chart in the inconjunction. But to summarize, inconjunction shows a complexity or a particularity within the personality that may sometimes catch other people off guard, or it causes you to have to pay a lot more attention to detail and to pay more attention to this personality trait, and you have to deal with it in kind of like roundabout ways. Also, inconjunction will show an aspect of your personality that's more secretive. So say for instance, if somebody had Mars inconjunct to the ascendant, this means that their motivations and their passions are more, secretive. They may feel like it was never okay to pursue the things that they want in an outwards manner. So even in matters of romance, they are more secretive and more calculated, and like their lovers or the people that they're into are always wondering how this person really feels about them. Or sometimes they may overlook this person altogether, and they may not even notice this person's attraction or their feelings, because again, inconjunctions is kind of like the sign Scorpio and the sign Virgo. And the Scorpio part of this is about being secretive. With that being said, Mars inconjunct the ascendant, as an example, another thing about this placement is that it really depends on the signs that it's in, and it will show the reason why this person is so secretive. So say for instance, somebody had Mars in Leo and they had the ascendant in Pisces. This is an inconjunction if it's 150 degrees. Pisces is all about our perception of things. It's all about fantasies and our imagination. And then Mars in Leo is about passionately or confidently expressing ourselves, or like going after the things that we desire and wanting to display capability to others. Whereas, Pisces is a more shy or introverted sign that's more about creativity and solitude, and also our perception of things or our fantasies or our imagination. So this in conjunction would show somebody that may get really in their head a lot, or that may feel shy, and so therefore they have difficulty pursuing the things they want in a confident manner or displaying capability towards others due to internal insecurities. So hopefully that made sense as an example. But kind of how inconjunctions work throughout any of the signs that is involved. So like you really have to pay attention to which planets are involved and what the signs are. That's gonna wrap it up for this video. If you enjoyed this video and you learned something new about yourself or others, you liked it, then don't forget to leave a like on this video and subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see more content, as well to see the meanings of oppositions and the other aspects, which is quintiles, having to do with value and worth, and biquintiles. Then check out my Patreon, where I'll be uploading the second part of this video, or the second part in general. Inconjunctions are also about perfectionism, and it can be about self-criticism, because 150 degrees is the degree associated with the 6th house, or the sign Virgo, which is all about flaws, pointing out flaws. It's about, details, and it's about perfectionism, and it's about skills and perfecting one's craft. So on a positive sense, a inconjunction can show a skill that somebody develops, especially through hard work or consistency, but also it shows a self-critical tendency on the negative end. So if this is not something that they work on, is more something that they may see flaws about within themselves. So for example, Venus inconjunct the ascendant is somebody that may see flaws in their own sense of value or beauty, because the ascendant is especially about our appearance, and Venus is about value, beauty, or worth, or attractiveness. On a positive note though, since the 6th house, or the 150 degree angle, is really about repetition, lifestyle, and routine, it can show somebody that develops their beauty through paying attention to detail and through lifestyle habits such as working out and having a health regimen. So that's another aspect of inconjunctions. It's really about perfectionism or self-criticism, which can either be manifested positively through self-development and will show somebody who has unmatched skills in a certain area of life, depending on the planet and what area of life it rules in their chart, but also, what the planet is about. But on the other hand, it also shows a tendency for self-criticism and to be more secretive about this characteristic of themselves due to either insecurities, perfectionism, or incompatibilities within the personality. I also do a weekly podcast about manifestation on Patreon. And also there are unreleased videos from this channel and other part 2 videos, such as, the most recent one was planets being in your second house and what this means in terms of various talents, because the second house is about talents. So, basically on Patreon, I post other content that is exclusive, including, the next few aspects about astrology, about planets being an aspect to each other. And, so if that interests you, definitely check that out, and the link in the description. The last thing is, if you would like a natal chart reading and you enjoyed this video and you would like personalized private video reading breaking down each of your placements, your talents, and your life path as well based on your placements and your north node, then check the link in my description to my Patreon, where I do a free natal chart reading for the Jupiter tier patrons, or the email that's in my description, where you can contact me and book a reading that way. Right now, the price is $40 per reading as of me making this video. So definitely check those out if that interests you. With that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed, and I appreciate you guys watching and supporting in any way that you do. I will talk to you guys sometime soon in another video. Peace.